And let me tell you something, change won't come until you first of all acknowledge you got a problem and then believe Jesus can fix it. You gotta have belief, and what happens is we become traitors. We give one thing to God and turn around and take it back. Indian givers, we tell God, I want you to handle my situation, and then turn around and tell yourself, you don't know what you're going to do. Now, how do you not know what you're going to do if you say you gave what you want to do to somebody else? Why is it that you give a car away and worry about whether or not they got gas in it? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't sell a house to somebody and worry about whether the roof leaking. It ain't your house no more. But yet we take our burdens and our problems and we give them to God and still worry about how He's going to work them out. He says, because of your faith, because of your belief, I'll do it. If you want God to change you, if you want change to come in your life, you got to believe He's able to do it. And I don't know about y'all, I believe God is able to do anything but fail. He's able to change my life. He's able to change your life. He's able to take something down and pick it up. He's able to take something dead and give it life again. He's able to take something green and make it yellow, make something red, blue. He's God and can do anything but fail. You got to believe it. You got to believe it. You got to believe it. Even when people doubt it, you got to believe it. Even when they say it can't happen, you got to believe it. Even when they don't think it's going to work, you got to believe it. Even when you don't see the money, you got to believe it. Even when your credit don't say it, you got to believe it. He says, because of your belief, I'll do it. You got to have faith. You got to have faith that God is going to bring about a change. Sam Cooke said it. I was born by the river. Oh, y'all know that. Come on, man. Come on, somebody listen to it on the way to church. In a little tent. He says, I know, a change. Well, I like Sam Cooke. He said, I know a change is going to come. But you got to believe it in your heart that I'm not going to stay in the shape I'm in because the potter will put me back together again. I'm not going to stay in a defeated state. I'm not going to stay in an impoverished state. I'm not going to stay in an unhappy state. I'm not going to stay in a depressed state. I'm not going to stay in an anxiety-filled state. I'm not going to stay with my roof leaking. I'm not going to stay with my car tapping. I'm not going to stay in this situation because God is able to do just what He said He will do. And I know my change gonna come. That's what these people believed when they met Jesus. I know my change gonna come. The leper wouldn't have showed up if he didn't believe his change was gonna come. The centurion would have never found Jesus if he didn't believe his change was gonna come. You would have never prayed like you prayed if you didn't believe my change is gonna come. You wouldn't be in here right now if you didn't believe my change is gonna come. It's going to come. Change has to take place. And I don't know, I talked about the movies, and all of us have watched these great movies, and sometimes the movie starts out slow. Especially if you're watching horror movies. Sometimes they can start out slow. And then they show a window scene. And they show somebody sitting in front of the fireplace. And they show a window scene as if somebody is looking through the window. And then the sound on the show or movie starts to change. It goes from whistling to and you know as you watch the show that and said, "Who is it? Who is it?" And a man shows up that hadn't been on the show before. That tells you something about to change, you know. Yeah. There's always indications in our life where God shows us something. This ain't about to change. This ain't about to change. You got to feel it, you got to know it, you got to see it, that in my life something is about to change. It costs something though. It's going to cost something. It's going to cost some nights of sleeplessness. It's going to cost maybe some nights of tears. It may cost somebody turning their back on you. It may cost somebody walking away from you. But you know change will come. But it comes with a cost. And there's a question I want to pose as I close. Can you afford the cost? I know we can afford a whole lot of things. They sell these cell phones now. The 7s, iPhone 7 or something, 8s, and the 9 will be out next week probably. And people scrap up money. The phones cost as much as a house note. But they say, I can afford the cost. The price of gas may go up to $4. Some folk ain't going to slow down at all because they can afford the cost. But there's some things in life that you're going to have to encounter that's going to be more expensive than $4 gas. There's going to be some things in your life that you're going to encounter that's going to cost more than an iPhone 7. The question you have to make sure you pose to yourself when you're confronted with your chapter 8 is, can you afford? Can you afford the cost? When you sing the song, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Turn me around. Turn me around. There's a cost associated with it. When you tell somebody you love God, there's a cost associated with it. When you tell somebody you there for them and you ain't going nowhere, there's a cost associated with it. The question that you have to make sure you're honest with yourself about is, can I afford the cost? We make a lot of decisions that affect other people. And before we make these hard decisions, we have to ask ourselves, when it's over, everybody know, was it worth the cost? And when you check your account, you'll find out you didn't have enough life's money in it to pay it. Change costs something. Change costs something. More than your house, more than your car. Can you afford the cost to be who you are? And can you afford the cost to be what you want to be? I may want to be like T.D. Jakes in some regard, but T.D. Jakes done paid some prices I can't afford. You can sing like Beyonce, one of these artists out here. Your voice is just as pretty. But to be where she is going to cost you something. Yeah. You sleep at 2 in the morning. She up singing. See? Yeah. She may have got an hour of sleep to go to school and still make A's. You get you 4 or 5 hours to make A's. But to be where she is, it's going to cost her. Yeah. You might want a Denzel Washington in your life. But to have a Denzel Washington in your life, it's going to cost you something. How you going to handle your Denzel kissing folk on movies and telling you he's just acting? I ain't going to be able to do it. So Stringer told me, she wouldn't be able to do it. To my, you making money, you getting paid, it's just a job. She said she ain't going to be able to do that. It's a cost, y'all. I mean, everybody look at Will Smith and all these actors and stuff, and we be fat. Jada Pinkett. I wish I had Jada. I wish I had Beyonce. I wish I had Alicia Keys. It's a cost to be with these folks out there half naked half the time, and half the time you don't even know where they at. Y'all hear me? These folks married to folks, and half the time they naked, and the other half they don't know where they at.